Welcome back to another episode of Foeontheflicks, and in this one I'm going to be reviewing a new horror narrative genre called GoodMadam. Got an 89% Rotten Tomatoes, 2 out of 5 Common Sense, a 5.1 on IMDb, and I like this movie, but it doesn't say how many Google users like this movie, so I guess not many people have seen it, so therefore it might classify it in the category of a hidden gem because it was pretty good enough to recommend. So here I am, and here's the premise: the aftershocks of apartheid reverberate through a South African family as a daughter tries to free her mother from the grip of her mysterious employer. Okay, this is a super interesting horror movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's kind of fucked up and it's kind of pretty dark, but it has to do with like rich white people having like obviously black folks as their butlers, like back in the day stuff. But it's a modern day age when this movie takes place, and main character is this woman and her daughter, and she's like not with the daughter's father, so she had her grandmother's house who died, but then the whole family moved in, and you know how dramatic people can be, and they kind of just forced themselves into the grandmother's house without like really her permission, and she wanted to make changes and stuff to the house, and they're just like, that's disrespectful, how could you not even ask us? And she's like, because I was the only one here for so many years until you guys just showed up after grandma died. Anyway, so she leaves and starts to stay in this rich white person's house. It's an old dying lady named Diane, and she stays with her mother there. And her mother is like a full-time maid and caretaker for Diane. And it's super strange and creepy. The house is filled with all this like ancient African artwork and stuff, and we rarely see Diane, but she's always ringing her bell. And as soon as she rings it, I mean, the main character's mom just rushes to fulfill her every need. Like she is, it almost seems like she's under some kind of spell. And I won't spoil it, but that is my teaser for this one, because things start to get super interesting super fast. Not really. It takes a little bit of time. About halfway through is when it really starts cooking up. But yeah, it's good. It's how do I say this without spoiling anything? It's got some like black magic voodoo type shit going on, and it I can't give it without spoiling it. But oh god, hold on, sorry. So I wasn't familiar with apartheid, apartheid. It's a South Africa, a policy or system of segregation or discrimination on grounds of race. Segregation on grounds other than race, gender apartheid. Okay, so it means apartheid, Africans apartness, was the name that the party gave to its racial segregation policies, which built upon the country's history of racial segregation between the ruling white minority and the non-white majority. And that's pretty much the basis of this movie, because the lady's mom is they're African, and she is caretaking for this old white lady who is like pretty wealthy, pretty well off, and she has these rules for her house, like no running, no using the pool without being unattended for her daughter, no going in the fridge without grandma's permission, or having her. And there's lots of things that make you start to question, like, what's really going on here? Like, she won't use Diane's cups. She has her own cup. Her room is like super small and very simple and basic. And she's like cleaning cups and stuff like every day. Like, kind of like, why? You just cleaned that yesterday? And she like starts seeing her mom up in the middle of the night cleaning and scrubbing and shit. And so she really starts to feel like something's going on here. And I won't spoil it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna try to wrap it up. But yeah, I thought it was a really good horror movie. I like twisted, dark kind of shit like this. So it was right in my wheelhouse, and I recommend it for you guys. I got an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. I give it like an 85% on the FoeScale, so not too far off. Um, and yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's definitely super interesting, and will have you thinking at the end. So, and you'll probably be satisfied at the end, to be honest. So yeah, that's my review of GoodMadam, and it's a South African movie. And I usually do this at the jump of the video, but here's the premise. I couldn't find it on the Google page, but here on Rotten Tomatoes it says CD, a single mother, is forced to move in with her estranged mother Mavis, a live-in domestic worker caring obsessively for her catatonic white madam. As CD tries to heal her family, however, a sinister specter begins to stir. So yeah, that's a good setup. And here's some of the reviews from some of the top critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Doesn't shy away from magic spells and arcane African blood rituals. Damn, that's pretty spoilerish. But the real dark mojo that Base is bringing so starkly to the big screen involves the cycles of privilege and exclusion that seems to persist through every attempt at exorcism. GoodMadam is an intriguing, atmospheric movie, very atmospheric, which doesn't quite tie up all its sinister portents and implications in a satisfying ending, yet there is something very unsettling in it. I agree with that. A whole tomato, matching familiar genre tropes to a particular national malaise, it pulls off a fine balance of universal resonance and cultural specificity. Here's the only splat on here. Despite the film's almost entirely black cast, it's hard to forget there is a white woman at the helm, attempting to unpack weighty racial themes that do not feel hers to explore. It kind of confused me there. And here's another 2 whole tomatoes. Striking in a more tersely controlled slow burn mode. I agree with that. Short and sweet. It is a slow burn, but it does burn, so it's worth it if you want to feel something. The GoodMadam is about how power can turn even love into a box of fear and death. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Rotten Tomatoes needs to let me put reviews on. It's such bullshit. I should riot. I strike. I call a strike to Rotten Tomatoes because I can't even do it for the audience reviews. You know why? Because every time I try to fucking approve my account in order to be able to write reviews for the audience review section, it says page not found. Once I click on the email to what's the word? Yeah, every time I try to confirm my email address, it says page not found. What the fuck is up with that? Rotten Tomatoes, fix that shit, man. Anyway, that's Foeontheflicks. Give this one an 85% on the FoeScale. Definitely recommend it. It's a pretty good horror movie, brand new, so check it out. And I'll see you in the next one.